any members of the staff or council to add or pull any items. Are we okay with the agenda as is, staff? No. All right, with that, going on to our first item, which is presentations and a proclamation designating June as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month in the city of Clearlake. And I, of course, put this on the agenda today. I would have liked to do it at the beginning of the month, which is common practice, but unfortunately, we only have 2 meetings a month, or in some cases, maybe fortunately. And if any of you watched or were here for our meeting last time, we went right to the very end, so we could have had a longer meeting without passing a vote to continue that night. So anyways, better late than never. And then also, I thought it was kind of fitting that we put this so close to the day that we celebrate our nation's birthday, because so many of the issues that affect LGBT Americans and Clearlakeans, it's all about America and what America stands for, and hopefully the last great civil rights movement this great nation sees. So with that, I just wanted to say Pride is not just about a parade and flags and balloons and exhibitionists and tough ladies on Harley Davidsons and all those things. Pride to me is many things as a gay American. Over a decade before I was born, the world started to see the movement of acceptance and tolerance for the gay community following the Stonewall riots in New York. That decade also brought the first gay candidates and then the first gay elected official in San Francisco, and Supervisor Harvey Milk. Back then, the month of June held the first Gay In. After that, it was called Gay Freedom Day. And now it is what we know as Pride. The Pride celebration that San Francisco sees has now been replicated all over the world in different events. After battling the HIV/AIDS epidemic and suffering great loss of many community leaders in the 80s and 90s, and as we came into the new millennium, the movement of lesbian, bisexual, gay, transgender community had changed its focus and caliber. LGBT Americans are not just confined to small neighborhoods in large cities and urban areas, searching for acceptance from the predominantly heterosexual population. We are open and accepted members of communities of all sizes. We span all spectrums in race, profession, and socioeconomic boundaries. In all this progress, there is still so much to accomplish to make sure that no LGBT person is inhibited by government, society, or even within their own personal perceptions of themselves. Also, with the unfortunate passing of Proposition 8 in California, where discrimination was voted into a constitutional amendment, and also the attempts of many replications throughout the Union, the focus of the LGBT community has shifted and is not on tolerance and acceptance so much as it is on equality and liberty. Pride for me is making sure that LGBT teens are not more likely to commit suicide. Now they are 7 times more likely than their straight peers. Pride for me is the same-sex couple who can now attend social events, who serve in the military, and enjoy the freedom they have sacrificed and fought for. Pride for me is eliminating the likelihood that LGBT adolescents, young adults, become addicted to intravenous drugs, a group that is 10 times more likely than heterosexuals of the same age due to higher feelings of self-loathing and not being accepted. Pride for me is defending the ability of same-sex partners to open their home to a child who needs a safe and loving family, and to see this happen in all 50 states. Pride for me is the President of the United States standing by the side of the LGBT people by calling for nationwide marriage equality, the repeal of DOMA. At that time, pride for me, and on that day, will be the pursuit of happiness complete in my life as I may exchange vows and share a life with the one I love, and also be able to spend a committed time together as my grandparents did for 60 years. Pride for me is stopping hate crimes. Just this last weekend in Texas, Molly Ogden, 19, and Mary Chapa, 18, were gunned down in a public park, both shot in the head. Molly fatally injured, and her girlfriend clinging to life. Pride for me is stopping the continuous devastation of HIV/AIDS. Today, 64% of new cases are in gay men. Pride for me is stopping bullying. It's stopping workplace discrimination. And lastly, pride for me is the story of a 15-year-old boy who was afraid to admit who he was to his closest friend for fear of rejection, terrified to reveal his feelings to his family and his church because he feared they would never treat him the same, or God would never love him again. Although all his years were not perfect, not everyone accepting, not everyone was kind. However, he soon realized those people do not matter. Things got better for that boy. That boy, now a young man, still has that close friend. He breaks bread at the table with his same-sex partner and his family, hand in hand. He walks into the church where he grew up with his head held high because the God he knows created him the way he is and judges him for the person he is and not who he loves. That boy became the first gay person elected to his hometown and the youngest mayor in the city's history. That boy, in the presence of his friends and family and community tonight, has the opportunity to proclaim the first official Pride Month in the history of this city. So with that, I'm going to bring someone very special to me up to the podium as I read this official proclamation. Harold Riley is an amazing man who outdates me by a few years. Him and people like him gave me the opportunity to sit in this chair today. They really saw the struggles. Harold and his partner Bill were able to be married back when it was legal for that short time, and they've spent almost 4 decades together. They've lived in Clearlake, I think, about almost half that time. Harold founded the Stonewall Democrats and the Matthew Shepard chapter of the Stonewall Democrats here in Lake County, and he's a radio host on KPFC's Our Stories, Our Lives, that focuses on LGBT issues in the community. So with that, I am going to issue this to Harold. I think there is no one in this city that deserves it more than he does. And if you'll join me at the podium, Harold. Proclamation Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month for June 2012. Whereas the City of Clear Lake strives to create a welcoming community for all people, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, expression. And whereas, in the words of President Obama, ours is a heritage forged by those who organized, agitated, and advocated for change, who wielded love stronger than hate, and hope more powerful than insult or injury, who fought to build for themselves and their families a nation where one is not a second-class citizen, no one is denied basic rights, and all of us are free to live and love as we see fit. And whereas lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights are human rights, and whereas gay and transgendered citizens contribute to the fabric of our society by working alongside us, donating time, talent, and labor to our community, and attending our schools and colleges. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of Clear Lake does hereby proclaim June 2012 as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Pride Month in Clear Lake, and calls upon its citizens to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists and celebrate the diversity of our community. Dated this day, the 28th of June, 2012. And if Harold would like to say some words, I'd like to open it.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Luiz, and Clearlake Council. Thank you so very, very much. I am humbled and proud to be here today, a day that I thought would never happen in my lifetime. But this truly belongs to all the LGBT people, men and women, who have fought and struggled through many years. This is just a small victory, but it's an important one for the City of Clear Lake. Many men and women died that fought so I could be here today, and I owe more to them probably than I could ever repay. All my brothers and sisters and straight friends and allies all made this possible. I will and remain just one little link in a chain that now stretches throughout the world. One little man in one small little community, I guess, can make a little difference, and this is a very important day for me. I only regret that my partner of 38 years couldn't be here with me today. Perhaps, in a sense, he is. I hope so. So, thank you all for coming out and sharing this wonderful moment with me today, historic moment, as far as I can see. And I thank you all so very much, and thank the City Council, and particularly Mayor Luiz. Thank you so much.
All right, moving on to public comment. This is a time for any member of the public to speak on any